Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Beautifully Aligned podcast, the podcast for the woman who wants to live her most extra, beautifully aligned life. I am your host, Lynn Ford, certified professional life coach and founder of All Gussied Up, the blog, and the YouTube channel. Maybe you're watching this on YouTube. If you're not, I also post these podcasts to YouTube if you enjoy watching. Okay, so I'm sure you've heard people say, if you're in like the self-helpy space at all, if you're consuming content online, there's this trend going around where people are saying they're in their delusional era. And I love it. I absolutely love it. And that's kind of what I want to talk to you about today, and just really owning your extra in whatever that is for you. This past week, I was talking to someone about her dreams, her desires, and she said to me, "You're the only person that I feel comfortable sharing this with. You listen to me, you affirm me, you make me feel like I can actually do this." And I started thinking about this whole thought of delulu, right? Or delusional. And delusional doesn't have to have a negative connotation. I feel like so many people associate it with being insane, crazy, whatever, negative terms. I view it as a positive for myself. And I can look at my life and think about the ways where delusion, quote unquote, delusion, or being delulu has really been beneficial for my life. It has opened up doors for me that before I never thought were possible. It's allowed me to overcome limiting beliefs. So I view being delusional as a positive, and I hope that you can too. I know I've shared this before, but one aspect where delusion has kind of seeped in and allowed me to live my dream life is when I quit my 9-to-5 job. That had always been a dream. I'd always been told you have to work really hard. You have to work in a corporate job, your career, in order to get retirement, blah, 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 all this stuff. You have to struggle. You have to put in the hard work. Yes, you do have to work for the things that you want, but that wasn't the only way. And I had to really learn that and overcome this limiting belief that I had. And the delusion was slipped in there because it allowed me to quit my full-time job and create this vision that I really, really desperately wanted for my life. And now I'm starting to live it. So I'm living proof, I raise my hand, that this has worked for me. So my dream life looks different than your dream life or my neighbor's dream life. Everyone's vision for their life is going to look different. But for me, what felt so delusional when I was working in a corporate job was being able to spend as much time as I wanted with my daughter, structuring my time out how I wanted it to look, going out and getting an iced coffee, just something as simple as that on my own schedule was a dream. Like, it was a total dream. Also being able to work with the people that I want to work with in helping women, which has always been a dream of mine, and I'm living it now. And so I just want to share this message because I really was told through not one person, but, well-meaning people, society, teachers, whatever, that the only way to achieve XYZ is to struggle and hustle and all of the things. And I was hearing this from people / society, whatever, media, programming, from people that are basic. And I don't do basic. And if you are listening to this, you probably don't do basic either. So do not listen to those people. So as you start to create this vision for your life, or maybe you're already living it, but you want to go like a step further, what's the next step that I really want to see myself grow into? You've got to stop listening to the basics. And here's the thing about creating a really beautifully aligned life is it might feel crazy before you start living it. And I say that because I was there. It might feel really crazy, but it is attainable. And I want to touch on manifestation for a second because I see so many fellow coaches and just people in general talking about manifestation and how you can just think about something, therefore it will come to you. That's manifestation at a very, very basic level. And what I'm going to share with you today, as far as some tools that you can actually use and that will actually work, are very different from manifestation. I don't believe in just teaching you or teaching my clients manifestation because I'm not totally a believer. I wanted to touch on that manifestation little sidebar for a second because I am someone that likes to use tools that are proven to work, that are like psychologically based, scientifically based, if you will, to actually work when you are changing your life, because that's so important. So I'm not just going to throw, a fluffy thought at you and say, oh, if you just think positive, this will happen, because no. Needs to be backed by action. So, of course, be delusional. Get into that mindset of what can I dream up? What do I envision for my extra life? How can I be the happiest, most fulfilled person that I can be? And before I go any further, I want to warn you that this can also be isolating. So it can make you feel crazy. It can also feel isolating, and as it should, because at the beginning I talked about how you don't want to listen to the people that are telling you you can't do this and affirming maybe your limiting beliefs about yourself. You want to cut out that noise and really isolate yourself in the most positive way possible. So I'm going to give you some tools on how to do this, but of course you do want to surround yourself with the people that support you and support your dreams. So if this is all hitting you, you might be limiting yourself. So what I want you to do is get a journal, get a notebook, because this isn't all just something you're going to think in your head. And I'm going to teach you how to mental contrast. I bet you have not ever heard this term. It's actually a psychological visualization technique that goes kind of beyond the manifestation tool. So this will actually work if you take the time to do this. Okay, so grab your notebook, your journal, maybe it's a Google Doc. I personally write everything, literally everything, from my schedules to journaling to to-do lists. Everything is in Google Docs, but if you want to physically write things down, that's fine too. The first word you're going to write down is wish. And with wish, this can be the dream that you're thinking of, the visual that you're getting for your dream life. I'm going to give you some context for each of these words and use my own story. So with the example of leaving my job, for example, so for wish, I would have written down, I wish to leave my 9-to-5 job. And then you can list more. I wish to not work in an office, whatever it is. So write down the wish, and just that wish. Be as detailed as you possibly can with your wish, so you can just feel it, think it, taste it, see it. So you want to be really, really crystal clear on your wish. And then I want you to write down outcome. So based on that wish, what is the outcome that is going to come of this wish? For me, in this case of leaving my 9-to-5 job, the outcome or ideal outcome was that I would have freedom. And that is one of my core values. I talked about values either last episode or previously, or the one before that. So freedom was like the big word that was tied to outcome. I wanted freedom, time freedom. I wanted to choose my schedule. I've talked about that. So my outcome was really based around freedom, and you need to get really clear on what that looks like. Like I mentioned, I wanted to go out and be able to just get a nice coffee when I wanted to and not be chained to my laptop because someone else was watching me or whatever. I had a meeting. So you want to be as specific as you can. So something I could have written with outcome is I want to be able to go out with my daughter and go out to lunch when we want to, or get an iced coffee. I want to be able to help X number of women in my business. And that's something that I wrote down. So whatever it is for you, write the outcome based on that wish. The next word is obstacle. And this is where the mental contrasting comes in. So with obstacle, you're going to write down every single obstacle that might get in the way of you achieving this wish that you have, and therefore the outcome. So what are all of the obstacles that may be in the way? Maybe it's a person, maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's money, maybe it's time. Whatever it is, get very specific here. So the theme is kind of being specific. So you want to be very, very specific as far as what these obstacles are. Write them all down. Okay. So for me, it was time. It was money. It was fear. Fear was a big one for me. And that was tied to a limiting belief that I had. And I had to work through that. So as you're writing these obstacles down from there, the next word is plan. And that's the last one. And this is where you're going to plan how to overcome each obstacle you listed out. So you're going to write down each obstacle under plan, or however you want to organize it. Maybe you want to keep it an obstacle, but then plan underneath. So with the planning phase, you are going to plan out how you're going to overcome each individual obstacle. So you're not going to say something like, by September 1st, I'm just going to overcome all these obstacles. That's not, no. That's not how it's going to work. You're going to take each one and you are going to write down how exactly you're going to overcome that individual obstacle. So maybe it's, I don't have time in my day to even work on these action steps. Maybe it's to lose weight. I'm just thinking on the fly here. Maybe part of your dream life is to fit into a bathing suit that you've always wanted to wear. But one of your obstacles is you don't have the time, or you feel like you don't have the time. So how are you going to create time? You're going to write down a plan to overcome that obstacle. So maybe for you, that means taking inventory of how you're spending your day, finding pockets of time. Can you time block? What can you do to overcome that particular obstacle? So I want you to do that for each obstacle that's coming up for you after you do the wish and the outcome. Okay. And then plan. And then beyond that, you are going to create a plan with action steps that are kind of separate from your obstacles. So what additional steps do you need to take to get to this outcome? You may have covered a lot of them in your obstacles, because there are obstacles, fortunately or unfortunately. And I feel like that's where the manifesting thing really just thumbs down for me. I'm doing a thumbs down on camera if you can't see. So the obstacle piece is huge. And then you want to plan beyond planning the obstacles out. So what do you need to do to achieve this? Look over what you've written down for your obstacles. Maybe you've already written down 90% of what needs to happen based on the obstacles that you are facing. Maybe not. So you're going to write down a plan, and you're going to be as specific as possible. And you are going to be time activated with it. So you're going to be specific, AKA measurable. Like when you're thinking of a SMART goal, it needs to be measurable. It needs to be time activated. So time activate those goals, make it reasonable. That's another piece of the SMART goal is it needs to be reasonable. Can you actually achieve this? Because when you create a goal for yourself that is not achievable, like I'm going to give you something crazy, like I'm going to lose 10 pounds in 2 days. Is that really reasonable? No. You're setting yourself up for failure. So please don't set yourself up for failure. Be reasonable with your plan. So all of this to say that you can absolutely be in your Delulu era like I am. And being delusional has gotten me to many different places in my life that I've wanted to be. And I gave you one example today, but you have to put these tools into practice to get there. You can't just think the positive thoughts and it will come to you. So, of course, thinking positively, banishing that negative self-talk, which I talked about it's been maybe a couple of months ago. So if you want to listen to that episode, I have a whole episode about getting rid of your negative self-talk, but positivity is huge. I am not bashing positivity at all. I'm just telling you that this is actually what works. This is how you can put your delusional era self into practice and actually see the results. Let me know if this episode resonated with you. Let me know if you liked it. Let me know if you want more of this. I also wanted to mention that I am taking one-on-one clients right now, and we can work on overcoming those limiting beliefs, creating a plan, maybe diving into the mental contrasting and doing it together. But one big piece that I see in this and that I see with many of my clients and the people that I talk to is that limiting belief factor. And there is a whole process in how we can attack that. So I just wanted to mention that if it's something you're struggling with, please reach out to me. I will leave the link in how to do that in the show notes or in the description. If you are watching this on YouTube, I would love to work with you. I'd love to chat with you. And that is all I have for you today. So if you like this episode, I would love it if you would share it with someone who is also in their delusional era and give it a 5-star rating and review on iTunes. I would be so grateful. And with that, I will chat with you next week.